Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Contest of Champions 2. Came out in 1999, written by none other than Chris Claremont. It's a pretty fun ride. I'm always a sucker for these type of stories. They're pretty stupid. They're tournaments where heroes have to fight. I just love seeing my favorite characters battle it out. Things always have some type of weird premise to get these heroes into these type of tournament type of situations. Again, even though this is not the best story ever, at least for me, it's a lot of fun. The big reveal of who's the big bad of the story too. So if you haven't read it, it's worth a read. It's fun. Since Chris Claremont wrote this story, there's references and nods to some aspects of what he did on the X-Men during the 80s, especially with the big bad. Like, if you're really familiar with it, you're going to know who's going to be the bad guy at the end of the story. The one plotting behind the scenes and trying to take advantage of this whole tournament. Today we're going to cover the first two issues. We start off with Iron Man and Human Torch. They're participating in this type of military exercise. For some reason, out of nowhere, Rogue jumps in on the exercise. She's trying to have a little fun, being a little bit mischievous. This really gets under Iron Man's skin. While Iron Man and Human Torch are trying to capture Rogue, they're teleported away. Them and almost every other main hero in the Marvel Universe to a mysterious place. It seems to be like a weird space station. No one knows what's going on. It has been informed that they're going to be part of this tournament. And oddly enough, most of the heroes are like totally okay with this situation. So okay, I'm in this. When do I get to participate? Except for Iron Man, due to his armor, because Iron Man realizes there's like a bunch of nanites all over the place, and everyone seems to be breathing these things in. Once they're in your system, it seems that they're able to make people to comply. But since Iron Man has his armor on, these nanites are not to get in. His mind it's not being able to be influenced. He realizes that there's a bunch of like weird alien hosts that are there to receive the heroes. He realizes that these are all holograms thanks to his Stark tech. The villain behind the story immediately says, I don't like Tony Stark. I want him out of this tournament. You can see the big bad's tendrils. Also, another reference to who's the main villain in the story. Doesn't like the presence of Wolverine on the station either. They're getting everyone on board with this tournament, so we get to see a shot of Storm, Black Panther, Captain America, Thing, Kitty Pryde. Shadowcat is in real bad shape. It seems that these nanites are doing a real thing with her powers. So we get the first battle, Iron Man versus Psylocke. Immediately when I saw this, at least I thought to myself, Iron Man has to win. Even though I'm not a big Iron Man fan, like I always, especially during this time, I was really an X-Men fan. I hadn't started reading Avengers too heavily. I started reading the Heroes Return Avengers. That's when I started getting into Avengers. And after Bendis' New Avengers, that's when I got really hooked on Avengers to a point that I started reading more Avengers stuff than X-Men stuff. There's related titles and stuff like that. So we start the battle. The battle between and the action between Psylocke and Iron Man, it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. We have a reference to Lady Mandarin, a reference to the Act of Vengeance story arc where Psylocke became Lady Mandarin. Obviously comes out on top, even though he had a little bit of trouble. Psylocke is a very proficient fighter, and she has telepathic powers and stuff like that. Then we cut to the big bad behind the story saying, we don't want Iron Man in this tournament. We got to get rid of him. We see the Badoon, I'm not sure how to name that specific alien race that always the big bads to the Guardians of the Galaxy, the original ones. In the second battle for Iron Man, they totally stacked the deck against him, and he goes up against the complete team of X-Force, so he has to go up against Cannonball, Danny Moonstar, Sunspot, Domino, Warpath. He gets blown away by this new member of the X-Force. I think his name was Beldam. His powers is to be able to control electricity and machines I'm not sure. I don't remember his power set, but something related. He totally fries Iron Man's armor. It's KO'd by Domino. We go into issue 2. Don't remember if I mentioned we're going to only cover the first 2 issues. And we get the first battle where we have this incarnation of Spider-Woman that I had totally forgotten about. Maddie Franklin. Whatever happened to the Spider-Woman? We have her fight going up against Human Torch. Obviously, when I saw this, I thought to myself, Human Torch is much more powerful and much more experienced compared to this new Spider-Woman. Obviously, does come out on top. Cut to the defeated Iron Man. He's been like teleported to this weird type of jungle badland situation. Place full of monsters. He gets attacked left and right, and he comes across with Psylocke, who have been in a real bad situation, and she's still really pissed off with her defeat against Iron Man. We get a pretty awesome battle between Hulk and Mr. Fantastic, where Hulk inhales Mr. Fantastic and chews him up. We get another battle between Human Torch and She-Hulk, which actually it's pretty interesting. They go like a different type of battle. They go in a different direction than what I would think She-Hulk and Human Torch battle would be. But then we cut to this scenario in the past, it seems, where we have this weird space shark and Deathbird and Storm, sort of like a nod or a reference to an old school 1980s, these crazy space whales, a 1980s story arc from the Chris Claremont era, as I mentioned before. Obviously, Kitty Pryde recognizes the big bad. It's pretty obvious. Like I'm not going to spoil it in this video yet, but Kitty Pryde knows who the main villain is to the story. Big battle between Human Torch and Storm. This battle is actually pretty awesome. Both of these characters like using their powers to the extreme, but obviously Storm is going to have an advantage against the Human Torch. We end the second issue, so I was only going to cover the first 2 issues. I remember when this came out, I loved it, but I remember it took forever between one issue to another to come out. Like there was like a lot of delay, so that was really frustrating. But it's a real fun read. Next video, probably cover issues 3, 4, and 5. So I hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.